Virgo, Neptune will finally be out of your seventh house. It has created a lot of delusions, illusions, and confusions regarding your relationships for the past 14 years, and all that ends now. At the end of Jan 2026, Neptune is out of your seventh house and will enter into your eighth house. So, no more confusing relationships, no more extra sensitivity, or you being extra empathetic, or other people taking advantage of your empathy. No more meeting shady characters. You're done with that 14-year confusing partnership headache. And Neptune in 8th is definitely a lot easier to deal with than Neptune in the 7th. Neptune in the 8th can create sensitivity or confusion regarding topics like investments, inheritances, stocks, finances in general, fertility issues, reproduction or excretory stuff, sensitivity regarding these areas. Also, boundaryless when it comes to physical intimacy or emotional intimacy. So that is something you have to take care of. Saturn is gonna be here for the next 2 years, 2 months. So I guess you're gonna have some kind of a boundary set up at least for that time. But yeah, try to maintain those boundaries for the next 14 years, irrespective of Saturn being here or not. So Saturn comes into your eighth house around Valentine's Day, 14th, 2026. So no more headache regarding relationships. Saturn in the seventh, you might just be coming from a huge breakup, or you've just made a huge commitment. You recently got married, and things haven't been that easy. There's way more responsibility. Saturn is out of this place. Saturn in 8th is no picnic either. There could be psychological stuff. Life and death is are topics that you will think about with Saturn in the 8th. Reproductive system or excretory system can give you issues. Psychological issues are also possible with Saturn in the 8th. One thing you can do to negate most of this is to get into research mode and spend a lot of time in that. 8th house is also house of research, so you can channel the Saturnian grind into that research. Also, don't live with your in-laws. Don't bother with your in-laws. Don't sell any of your properties. Don't lend anyone any money when Saturn is in the 8th. Sometimes Saturn can stabilize the 8th house topics and situation. Be very wary of spending your money, lending your money, investing your money. Extra careful. Don't do it at all. If you do it, just be extra careful. And if you sell things while Saturn is in the 8th, you might not make as much money. So try not to sell anything for the next 2 years. You could have issues regarding in-laws also. You're gonna have Jupiter trining Saturn for 1 year, among that 2 years, 2 months. So you'll have an easier 1 year compared to the rest of us folks. Now, Saturn is gonna be retrograde at the end of July, and it's gonna be retrograde until almost the middle of December in Aries. So things regarding your finances, investments, stocks, fertility, life and death situations, your reproductive system, excretory system situations, they could slow down, or you might have to revisit or reevaluate or redo certain topics while Saturn is retrograde regarding this house. Now, Uranus is done with your ninth house. Uranus has been in your ninth house since 2018 for past 7 years. It will enter your 10th house. So you could be way more into technical stuff or technology related stuff in terms of your career for the next 7 years. Uranus enters Gemini almost at the end of April 2026, and it stays there for the next 7 years. Uranus in 10th can give sudden changes in terms of your career, a very technologically oriented career. Maybe you guys are using a lot of AI, or you could be one of those people who's making breakthroughs when it comes to scientific stuff regarding your career. You could be one of those inventors. You're making major breakthroughs, sudden breakthroughs too, for the next 7 years. Jupiter enters your 12th house in the second half of 2026. Jupiter will stay in your 11th house in the first half of 2026. So Jupiter in Cancer in 11th house, the first half you are making a lot more friends, you are attending more events, you're having a good time socializing, you're having a good time on social media, you're expanding your social media reach or things regarding social media, as long as Jupiter is in 11th. Now Jupiter gets into your 12th house at the end of June. It's gonna stay there until the end of July 2027. Jupiter in the 12th house, you could probably spend way more money. You are concerned about your mental health. You could be indulging in abroad travel a lot more than before, Virgo. Jupiter rules your 4th house and your 7th house. With that in 12th, you could probably find partners in spiritual settings or in abroad settings, or you could stay abroad for a while Jupiter is in the 12th. So if you want to go abroad travel, if you want to get into mental health, if you want to get into therapy, or if you want to get into spirituality, this is a much easier time with Jupiter here. Jupiter is already retrograde until 11th of March 2026 in Cancer, which is your 11th house. So things kind of slow down, or you're reevaluating things regarding your friends and network circles and communities and stuff. Mid December 2026 to mid April 2027, Jupiter is gonna be retrograde in Leo. So things could slow down regarding travel or spirituality or mental health. You could be revisiting while Jupiter is retrograde. Virgo, North Node is currently in your 7th house. It's gonna be in your 7th house until the end of July, and it's gonna get into your 6th house after that until end of March 2028. So as long as North Node is in the 7th house, you have a lot more potential to probably meet your future partner. You could be starting new businesses, you could be dating way more, you might get engaged, you might get married. And the eclipses regarding this 1/7 axis are a lot more potent. And North Node enters Aquarius at the end of July 2026, and it's gonna stay there until the end of March 2028, while South Node enters your 12th house. So the axis becomes your physical health and your mental health axis, and our eclipses are a lot more potent regarding these house topics. So the second half of 2026, you're more focused on your health, you are more focused on your career, you have more interactions with your coworkers, or you could be switching jobs. You're more focused on your work, you could be overworking, or you could be way more focused on health when North Node enters your 6th house. Now the first eclipse for 2026 happens around 17th 18th Feb. The new moon happens in Aquarius. This is partial solar eclipse, so it is not super potent, but again, Aquarius is also is your 6th house. It is house of your health, one of the house of the careers too. So you could be starting a new job, or you're probably starting some kind of a new health routine, or you're getting some kind of health checkups done for this new around this new moon. Now the next eclipse happens around 2nd or 3rd March of 2026. This is full moon, and this is total lunar eclipse in Pisces and Virgo axis. These are potent points. So again, you are a new you from this point onwards. Likely you could get into a very important relationship. You could be getting married or engaged, or you're meeting someone fated to you around this time. Also, you could be starting a new business, or you have this idea for a new business that you're going to start for the next 6 months. So one of those things can happen. The next eclipse happens while in August, and the nodes are now in your 6th and 12th house axis. 12th or 13th of August, there's new moon in Leo, which is your 12th house. This is a total solar eclipse, so this is pretty potent. So this could kickstart your mental health therapy, or it could kickstart you wanting to go abroad, or like some kind of abroad situation, or It kickstarts your spiritual journey, and around 28th August 2026, this is partial lunar eclipse. The full moon is in Virgo and Pisces, while the nodes are in Aquarius and Leo. So this is again a kind of a relationship axis, not as potent as the March 2nd and 3rd situation. Starting or ending of things regarding relationships or business can still happen around the end of August. Mercury is retrograde in all the water signs this year. Mercury enters Pisces in the around the second week of Feb 2026. It stays there for 67 days. Mercury enters Cancer in the beginning of June and it stays there for 69 days. Mercury enters Scorpio around the beginning of October and it stays there for 67 days. Mercury goes retrograde at the end of Feb and it stays retrograde until the end of third week of March for 21 days in Pisces. Now Pisces is your 7th house. Mercury is your ascendant lord. So first lord in 7th house for 67 days. That's a lot of time for relationships topics to occur. During retrogression you could re-evaluate something regarding your relationship, or your exes could come back, or your exes could try to communicate with you. If you're trying to gather a lot of information regarding your partner while Mercury is in the 7th, there could be miscommunications or misinterpretations or delays in communications or redoing or re-evaluating of information regarding your partnership, both business partnership and life partnership. Now, Mercury is a retrograde at the end of June until the end of third week of July in Cancer for 24 days. Cancer is your 11th house. So there are delays or miscommunications or misinterpretations or re-evaluating stuff regarding your friends. And Mercury is retrograde in last week of October until mid-November in Scorpio, which is your 3rd house. So 3rd house is the house of communication. So there could be literally miscommunications, re-evaluations, redoing stuff, misinterpretations, delays, misunderstandings in terms of communication in general while Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio for 20 days. Venus in 2026 spends a lot more time in Libra and Scorpio, so you can plan accordingly. Libra is your 2nd house, Scorpio is your 3rd house. Venus stays for 75 days in Libra and Venus stays for 79 days in Scorpio, including the next year. So Venus enters Libra in the second week of August and it stays there until mid-September, and it re-enters in the last week of October and it stays there until the end of first week of December. Venus in your 2nd house of Libra is great for your finances, except when it is opposite to your Saturn. That could be a time where there could be some issues. Your security regarding finances is pretty good. You are exploring more in terms of your food. You're checking out more cuisines. You kind of want to eat more sweet stuff. But all in all, a great time for finances while Venus is in Leo. Venus enters Scorpio in the middle of September and it stays there until the end of third week of October, and it enters Scorpio again in the second week of December and it stays there until the end of
first week
Jan 2027. While Venus is in the 3rd house, you are having a really good time with your younger siblings, cousins, neighbors. Your neighborhood is feeling a lot better. You could probably move into a new neighborhood. The neighborhood situation is a lot more peaceful, a lot more pleasant. You could probably buy a new vehicle, or you could be getting your license while Venus is in the 3rd. Your communication style is a lot more sweeter and gentler while Venus is in the 3rd. Venus is retrograde in Scorpio around first week of October till end of third week of October. So there could be delays or revisiting topics regarding information in general, because 3rd house is also communication. And it could also deal with partners, like delays in terms of communicating with partners, or there could be misunderstandings or misinformation when dealing with partners. Venus goes retrograde in the last week of October till mid November in Libra in your second house. There could be delays in terms of finances, or you could be reevaluating or redoing stuff in regards to your finances while Venus is retrograde in Libra. Now, there is no Mars retrograde in 2026. Mars kind of goes back and forth between Leo and Virgo in 2026 and 2027. Mars is in Leo for 141 days combined this year and next year, and Mars is in Virgo for 150 days combined this year and next year. So that's a long time Mars spends time between these two signs, so you can plan accordingly. Mars enters Leo at the end of September until almost the end of November for 59 days in 2026. While Mars is in 12th house, you could have issues or you could be fighting with mental health crisis. You could be spending a lot more while Mars is in 12th. You might travel quick trips to abroad or sudden trips to abroad while dealing with topics of spirituality abroad or mental health. You could be a lot more focused alone, and you're trying to do a lot more stuff while you're alone, isolated. You have way more energy. You might not sleep as much. You might feel way more restless. And Mars enters Virgo, the first house, at the end of November. And it stays there until the end of Feb 2027. It stays there for this year, it stays there for 35 days. While Mars is in the first house, you are way more aggressive. You have a more of a can do attitude. You have higher focus. You're going after things. You don't mind calling things out, calling people out. You don't mind, you don't back off from a fight. You have a lot more energy, so you could channel that energy into workouts, or you could be running a marathon or something. You could be doing a lot more physical exercises or physical stuff. Just take care of yourself, because Mars in the first can also cause injuries, so just be extra careful with yourself. That's about it. Enjoy your 2026 Virgo.